First contact. The Starship Odyssey drifted silently through the inky void of space, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The ship's long-range sensors had detected an anomaly, a distant star system emitting unusual energy signatures. "What do you make of it, Dr. Reeves?" Sarah asked, turning to the ship's lead scientist. Dr. Ethan Reeves, a lanky man with a perpetual look of curiosity on his face, stroked his salt and pepper beard. "It's unlike anything we've seen before, Captain. The energy output is off the charts, but it's not natural. Someone, or something, is generating it." Sarah's heart raced. After years of deep space exploration, could this be the moment humanity had been waiting for? "Plot a course, Lieutenant Kumar. Let's see what's out there." As the Odyssey approached the system, the crew's excitement grew palpable. They had trained for this moment, but nothing could truly prepare them for first contact with an alien civilization. The ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. Before them lay a breathtaking sight, a massive ring world encircling a blazing star. The construct was an engineering marvel, its surface dotted with sprawling cities and lush landscapes. "My God," Ethan whispered, his eyes wide with wonder. "It's beautiful." But as they drew closer, they noticed something was amiss. Massive energy shields flickered erratically around sections of the ring world, and debris floated in nearby space. "Captain," Lieutenant Kumar called out, his voice tense. "We're being hailed." Sarah straightened her uniform. On screen, the holographic display shimmered, revealing a creature unlike any they had seen before. It had iridescent, scale-like skin and large, multifaceted eyes. When it spoke, its voice was melodic yet tinged with urgency. "Greetings, unknown vessel. I am Zortal, High Counselor of the Aetherian Collective. We need your help." Sarah stepped forward, her voice calm and measured. "I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth exploration vessel Odyssey. We come in peace and offer our assistance. What seems to be the problem?" Zortal's eyes shimmered with what Sarah assumed were tears. "Our star is dying, Captain Chen. It has become unstable, releasing bursts of deadly radiation. Our shields can no longer contain it. We've tried everything, but our science has failed us. In mere cycles, our entire civilization will be wiped out." The bridge fell silent as the gravity of the situation sank in. Humanity's first contact with an alien species, and they were witnessing the potential extinction of an entire civilization. Dr. Reeves stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overtaking his initial awe. "High Counselor, if I may, your ring world is an incredible feat of engineering. Surely with such advanced technology, you can find a solution." Zortal's expression shifted, a mix of pride and sorrow crossing its alien features. "We are the legacy of a civilization far older than your own, Dr. Reeves. Our ancestors built this ring world eons ago, and much of their knowledge has been lost to time. We've grown complacent, focused on art and philosophy rather than the sciences that once defined us. Now, when we need that knowledge most, we find ourselves lacking." Sarah's mind raced. The situation was dire, but it was also an opportunity. A chance for humanity to prove its worth on the galactic stage. "High Counselor, we may not have your level of technology, but humanity has faced its share of challenges. We're adaptable, creative, and we don't give up easily. If you'll allow us, we'd like to help." Zortal's multifaceted eyes seemed to light up with hope. "You would do this for us, a species you've only just met." Sarah smiled. "It's who we are, High Counselor. Humanity has always dreamed of reaching the stars, not just to explore, but to connect, to help, to be part of something greater than ourselves." The alien leader was silent for a moment, then bowed its head in a gesture of gratitude. "We accept your offer, Captain Chen. Please, dock your vessel at the coordinates we're transmitting. Time is of the essence." As the transmission ended, the bridge erupted into a flurry of activity. Sarah turned to her crew, her eyes blazing with determination. "All right, people, this is what we've trained for. We're about to make history, and more importantly, we're about to save lives. Let's show the universe what humanity is capable of." As the Odyssey maneuvered towards the docking station, Sarah couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. They were about to face a challenge unlike any humanity had encountered before. But as she looked at her crew, their faces a blend of determination, curiosity, and courage. She knew that if anyone could find a solution, it would be them. Little did the Aetherians know that in asking for humanity's help, they were about to witness firsthand the incredible potential that lay dormant within these strange, young beings from a distant blue planet. The human capacity for innovation, their ability to think outside the box, and their unwavering spirit in the face of adversity were about to be put to the ultimate test. As the airlock hissed open, marking humanity's first step onto an alien world, Sarah Chen took a deep breath. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever impossible odds they might face, she knew one thing for certain. Humanity was ready to show the universe what they were made of. The adventure had only just begun. The proposal. As Captain Sarah Chen and her team stepped onto the alien ring world, they were immediately struck by its otherworldly beauty. The architecture was a blend of organic shapes and crystalline structures, pulsing with an inner light that seemed almost alive. But beneath the surface splendor there was an undercurrent of tension. The Aetherians moved with a nervous energy, their multifaceted eyes darting frequently to the sky where their dying star loomed ominously. High Counselor Zortal led the human delegation to a vast, domed chamber. The walls were adorned with holographic displays, showing real-time data of the star's deterioration and the steadily weakening planetary shields. "Welcome to the heart of Aetheria," Zortal announced, its melodic voice tinged with both pride and sorrow. "This is where we monitor the health of our world, and where we've watched helplessly as our doom approaches." Dr. Ethan Reeves immediately gravitated towards the displays, his eyes wide with fascination. "The amount of data you're processing here is incredible," he marveled. "With this level of information, surely there must be a solution." Another Aetherian, introduced as lead scientist Vexnar, joined them. Its iridescent scales shimmered with a blue tinge that seemed to indicate melancholy. "We've run countless simulations, Dr. Reeves. Our star's core has become unstable due to an unforeseen interaction with dark matter. The radiation bursts are becoming more frequent and intense. Our shields can no longer cope." Sarah frowned, her tactical mind already racing. "What about evacuation? Surely with your level of technology, you must have spacecraft capable of interstellar travel." Zortal's eyes dimmed. "We did, once. But it has been millennia since our people ventured beyond this system. Our ships have long since been repurposed or dismantled. We were, a self-sufficient paradise." The implication hung heavy in the air. An entire civilization, trapped in a paradise of their own making, now facing extinction. Lieutenant Raj Kumar, the Odyssey's chief engineer, spoke up. "What if we could reinforce your shields? Maybe with a different type of energy matrix." Vexnar's scales rippled with interest. An intriguing idea. But the scale required. It would take resources we simply don't have. Sarah stepped forward, her voice firm and resolute. "Then let us help. Earth may not have a ring world, but we've faced our share of global challenges. We've learned to innovate, to think creatively when resources are scarce." The Aetherian leaders exchanged glances, a silent communication passing between them. Finally, Zortal turned to Sarah, its eyes shimmering with a mix of hope and hesitation. "Captain Chen, your offer is generous, but we cannot ask your species to shoulder this burden alone. The risk to your people, to your world." Sarah held up a hand, a small smile playing on her lips. "With all due respect, High Counselor, we're not asking for permission. Humanity has dreamed of this moment, of meeting other intelligent life, of being part of a larger galactic community. If we turned our backs now, we wouldn't be worthy of that dream. Dr. Reeves nodded enthusiastically. Besides, think of what we could learn from each other. Your technology, your history. It's a treasure trove of knowledge. Zortal seemed taken aback by the human's eagerness. You would risk so much for a species you've just met. It's who we are, Sarah replied simply. It's what makes us human. There was a moment of silence, broken only by the soft hum of the holographic displays. Then, slowly, Zortal bowed its head in a gesture of deep respect. Very well, Captain Chen. We accept your help with profound gratitude, but we insist on offering something in return. The High Counselor gestured, and a section of the floor spiraled open. From the opening rose a pedestal bearing a small, unassuming cube that pulsed with an inner light. This, Zortal explained, contains the sum total of Aetherian scientific knowledge. Theoretical physics, advanced engineering, medical breakthroughs, knowledge gathered over millions of years. We offer this to Earth, whether we survive or not. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. The implications were staggering. With that knowledge, humanity could leap forward centuries, perhaps millennia, in scientific advancement. But there was a catch, and Sarah knew it before Zortal even spoke. However, the High Counselor continued, we must ask for a promise in return. If we do not survive, we ask that humanity become the caretakers of our legacy. Use our knowledge wisely. Learn from our mistakes, and perhaps, one day, restore our people from the genetic samples we will provide. The weight of the decision pressed down on Sarah. This was bigger than her, bigger than the Odyssey's mission. This was about the future of humanity and its place in the galaxy. She turned to her team, seeing the mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces. They all knew the risks, not just the physical dangers, but the moral and ethical implications of accepting such advanced knowledge. Your thoughts? She asked them quietly. Dr. Reeves was practically vibrating with excitement. The scientific possibilities are endless, Captain. We'd be fools to turn this down. Lieutenant Kumar nodded slowly. The engineering challenges will be immense, but think of what we could learn, what we could achieve. Sarah took a deep breath, then turned back to Zortal. High Counselor, on behalf of humanity, we accept your proposal. We'll do everything in our power to save your people. And if the worst should happen, we will honor your legacy. Zortal's eyes seemed to glow with relief and gratitude. Then let us begin, Captain Chen. Time is not on our side. As the Aetherian leaders began outlining the situation in more detail, Sarah felt a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. They were about to embark on a mission unlike any in human history, a race against time to save an alien civilization. But as she looked at her team, saw the determination in their eyes and the set of their jaws, she knew they were ready for the challenge. This was humanity's moment to prove itself, to show the universe what they were truly capable of. Little did they know, the greatest test of their resolve, and of the human spirit, was yet to come. Operation Starshield. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. The Odyssey's crew, working in tandem with the Aetherian scientists, pored over data, ran simulations, and brainstormed potential solutions. The clock was ticking. Each passing hour brought another barrage of deadly radiation from the dying star, further weakening the ringworld's shields. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the heart of Aetheria, surrounded by a mix of human and Aetherian faces, all showing signs of exhaustion, but burning with determination. Dr. Ethan Reeves was gesticulating wildly at a holographic display, his excitement palpable as he explained their plan. It's audacious, I know, Ethan said, his eyes gleaming. But I believe it's our best shot. We call it Operation Starshield. The hologram shifted, showing a massive network of satellites encircling the unstable star. The idea is to create a web of energy-deflecting satellites, Ethan continued. Each satellite will be equipped with a miniaturized version of the Aetherian shield technology, powered by our latest fusion reactors. Together, they'll form a barrier that can redirect the worst of the star's outbursts, giving the ringworld time to recover and reinforce its own shields. High Counselor Zortal's multifaceted eyes shimmered with a mix of hope and skepticism. The scale of this project is unprecedented. Even at the height of our technological prowess, we never attempted anything like this. Lieutenant Raj Kumar stepped forward, his face set with determination. That's where human ingenuity comes in, High Counselor. We may not have your level of technology, but we're experts at making do with what we have. We've designed these satellites to be modular and self-replicating. Once we launch the first batch, they'll start producing more of themselves using raw materials from the system's asteroid belt. Sarah nodded, pride swelling in her chest at her crew's innovation. We're calling in every favor Earth owes us. Ships are already on their way with additional personnel and resources. But we'll need your help too, High Counselor. Your people's expertise will be crucial in fine-tuning the shield harmonics. Zortal was silent for a moment, its iridescent scales rippling with thought. Finally, it bowed its head. You have our full cooperation, Captain Chen. Let Operation Starshield commence. The next weeks were a frenzy of activity. The ringworld became a bustling hub of construction and preparation. Human ships arrived, bringing with them a flood of Earth's brightest minds and most advanced technology. The Aetherians, inspired by the humans' relentless drive, threw themselves into the work with renewed vigor. But it wasn't smooth sailing. Cultural misunderstandings led to heated arguments. The humans' seemingly reckless approach to problem-solving often clashed with the Aetherians' more measured, cautious methods. More than once, Sarah found herself playing diplomat, bridging the gap between two very different species. As the first batch of satellites was prepared for launch, disaster struck. A particularly violent outburst from the star overwhelmed a section of the ringworld's shields. Panic spread through the Aetherian population as part of their world was exposed to deadly radiation. Sarah stood in the command center, watching in horror as the casualty reports came in. Beside her, Zortal's usual melodic voice was strained with grief. Thousands, gone in an instant, the High Counselor whispered. Perhaps this is hopeless after all. For a moment, Sarah felt the weight of their task threatening to crush her. But then she looked around at her crew, at Ethan's furrowed brow as he recalculated shield harmonics, at Raj's determined face as he coordinated emergency repairs. She saw the human and Aetherian teams working side by side, united in their refusal to give up. Sarah squared her shoulders and turned to Zortal. It's not hopeless, High Counselor. Not as long as we're still fighting. We've come too far to give up now. She strode to the center of the room, her voice ringing out clear and strong. Listen up, everyone. I know we've just suffered a terrible blow, but this is why we're here. This is the moment that will define us. Every second we spend doubting ourselves is a second wasted. So let's get back to work. We've got a world to save. Her words seemed to ignite a fire in the room. The teams redoubled their efforts, human and Aetherian alike working with renewed determination. Days blurred into weeks as Operation Starshield progressed. The first wave of satellites was launched, a glittering network of artificial stars rising to challenge the fury of a dying sun. Sarah watched from the observation deck as the satellites began their work, deflecting a massive solar flare that would have devastated the ringworld. For the first time in months, hope began to bloom. The Starshield was working, giving them the precious time they needed to reinforce the ringworld's defenses. But as Sarah looked out at the vast expanse of space, at the monumental task still ahead of them, she knew the real test was yet to come. They had proven that their plan could work, but could they scale it up in time? Could they maintain the shield long enough for the star to stabilize? As if in answer to her unspoken questions, alarms began to blare throughout the station. Sarah rushed to the command center, her heart pounding. On the main screen, a terrifying sight greeted her. A solar storm unlike anything they had seen before was building, threatening to overwhelm even their new defenses. Zortal's voice was tight with fear. Captain Chen, our models show this storm will be catastrophic. The starshield isn't complete enough to handle it. We may have no choice but to evacuate. Sarah stared at the screen, watching as the deadly storm grew. They were so close, had come so far. To give up now? No. There had to be another way. Humanity hadn't come this far, hadn't stretched itself to its very limits, just to fail at the final hurdle. Her mind raced, considering and discarding options at lightning speed. And then, in a moment of clarity, she saw it. A desperate, possibly suicidal plan, but one that just might work. "High Counselor," she said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins, "I have an idea. But I'll need every ounce of trust you can give me. And I'll need volunteers." As she outlined her plan, she saw the shock on the faces around her, human and Aetherian alike. It was risky, borderline insane. But as understanding dawned, she also saw something else. Determination, courage, and the unshakable will to survive that united both their species. The storm was coming, but humanity was ready to face it head-on, to push themselves beyond their limits. It was time to show the universe what humans were truly capable of when the chips were down, and everything was on the line. Operation Starshield was entering its final, most dangerous phase, and Sarah Chen knew that the next few hours would determine not just the fate of the Aetherian civilization, but the future of humanity's place in the cosmos. Inner demons unleashed. The command center of the Aetherian ringworld was a maelstrom of activity. Alarms blared incessantly as the massive solar storm loomed ever closer, its tendrils of plasma reaching out like the grasping fingers of some cosmic beast. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the center of it all, her eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing the approaching catastrophe. "All right, people, this is it." Sarah's voice cut through the chaos, steady and determined. "We've got one shot at this. Let's make it count." Her plan was audacious, bordering on insane. They would use the Odyssey, along with a fleet of smaller craft, to manually position and power a series of emergency shield generators directly in the path of the solar storm. It was a stopgap measure, designed to buy them enough time to complete the Starshield network. "It's suicide," Zortal had protested when Sarah first proposed the idea. "The radiation levels alone." "Maybe for your people," Sarah had countered. "But we humans are more radiation resistant than you might think, and we got some tricks up our sleeves." Now, as Sarah watched her crew prepare for what could very well be a one-way mission, she felt a mix of pride and fear churning in her gut. This was the moment that would define them all. Dr. Ethan Reeves approached, his usually excited demeanor replaced by grim determination. "The shield generators are ready, Captain. We've jury-rigged them with every scrap of tech we could get our hands on. It's not pretty, but it should work." Lieutenant Raj Kumar joined them, his dark eyes burning with an inner fire. "Engineering teams are standing by. We're as ready as we'll ever be." Sarah nodded, taking a deep breath. "All right, let's do this." As they made their way to the launch bay, Sarah couldn't help but notice the looks of awe and fear on the faces of the Aetherians they passed. To them, this level of self-sacrifice was almost incomprehensible. But to the humans, it was simply what needed to be done. The Odyssey lifted off, leading a ragtag fleet of ships towards the oncoming storm. As they approached the outer edges of the Aetherian system, the true scale of what they faced became apparent. The solar storm was a writhing mass of plasma and radiation, dwarfing anything they had encountered before. "My God," Ethan whispered, his face pale in the eerie light of the storm. "It's beautiful and terrifying." Sarah gripped the arms of her captain's chair, her knuckles white. "Stay focused, people. Begin deployment of the shield generators." The next hours were a blur of frantic activity. Ships darted back and forth, positioning the massive generators in a defensive line. The radiation levels climbed steadily, alarms blaring warnings that were steadfastly ignored. And then, Just as they were positioning the final generator, disaster struck. "Captain," Raj's voice was tight with panic. "We've got a problem. The last generator's power core is destabilizing. If it goes, it'll take out half our fleet and leave a gap in our defenses." Sarah's mind raced. They were so close to fail now. "I'm going out there," she declared, already moving towards the airlock. "Captain." "No," Ethan protested. "The radiation levels are survivable for a short time." Sarah cut him off. "But only I can authorize the override codes to stabilize that core. There's no other way." Before anyone could stop her, Sarah had donned a radiation suit and was cycling through the airlock. The moment she stepped out into space, she felt it. An oppressive weight, as if the very vacuum around her was trying to crush her. The solar storm loomed above, a wall of fire that seemed to fill the entire sky. Sarah pushed off, using her suit's thrusters to guide her towards the malfunctioning generator. Every second felt like an eternity, the radiation eating through her suit's shielding at an alarming rate. As she reached the generator, her hands flying over its control panel, Sarah felt something stir deep within her. It was a primal force, a wellspring of determination and fury that she had always known was there but had never fully embraced. In that moment, faced with the immensity of space and the raw power of a dying star, Sarah Chen tapped into the very essence of what made humanity unique. Some might call it madness, others might call it the indomitable human spirit. But as Sarah's fingers danced across the generator's controls, as she felt her body begin to fail under the assault of radiation, she understood what it truly was: the controlled release of humanity's inner demons, the primal force that had driven them from caves to the stars. With a primal scream that was swallowed by the vacuum of space, Sarah slammed her fist down on the final command key. The generator hummed to life, its shield snapping into place just as the first wave of the solar storm crashed against it. Sarah felt herself being pulled back towards the Odyssey, her vision blurring. The last thing she saw before losing consciousness was the completed line of shields, holding firm against the fury of the storm. When she awoke, days later, in the Odyssey's medical bay, she was greeted by the tearful, jubilant faces of her crew and the awestruck expressions of the Aetherian leaders. "You did it, Captain," Ethan said, his voice choked with emotion. "The shields held. The Starshield network is complete. The Aetherian world is safe." Zortal stepped forward, its multifaceted eyes shimmering with what Sarah now recognized as tears. "Captain Chen, we do not have words to express our gratitude. What you and your crew have done, it goes beyond heroism. You've shown us a side of sentient life we never knew existed." Sarah managed a weak smile. "It's who we are, High Counselor. It's what humans do." As she looked around at her crew, at the mix of human and Aetherian faces filled with relief and admiration, Sarah knew that this was more than just a rescue mission. It was the dawn of a new era, one where humanity would stand shoulder to shoulder with the Aetherians and any other species they might encounter among the stars. They had faced the impossible and emerged victorious, and in doing so, they had unleashed the true power of the human spirit, the controlled fury, the unyielding determination, the capacity for self-sacrifice that made them unique in the cosmos. The universe would never be the same, and humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. Triumph of the human spirit. In the weeks following the successful deployment of Operation Starshield, the Aetherian ringworld buzzed with a new energy. The once dying star now pulsed steadily behind the shimmering barrier of the completed Starshield network, its deadly outbursts tamed by human ingenuity and Aetherian technology. Captain Sarah Chen stood on a balcony overlooking one of the ringworld's vast cities, still amazed by its beauty despite the weeks she had spent here. The iridescent structures seemed to glow with renewed vigor, mirroring the hope that had been restored to the Aetherian people. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Dr. Ethan Reeves said, joining her at the railing. "Hard to believe just a few weeks ago, all of this was on the brink of destruction." Sarah nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Sometimes I still can't believe we pulled it off. But we did, Ethan replied, his voice filled with pride. And in doing so, we've changed everything. He wasn't exaggerating. The successful completion of Operation Starshield had sent shockwaves through both human and Aetherian society. The impossible had been made possible, and the implications were staggering. A door slid open behind them, and High Counselor Zortal glided onto the balcony, its scales shimmering with a palette of colors that Sarah had come to recognize as joy and excitement. "Ah, Captain Chen, Dr. Reeves," Zortal's melodic voice rang out. "I hoped I might find you here. The Council has reached a decision, and we wanted you to be the first to know." Sarah straightened, her curiosity piqued. "What kind of decision, High Counselor?" Zortal's multifaceted eyes seemed to sparkle. "We have voted unanimously to establish a permanent alliance with Earth. More than that, we wish to sponsor humanity's entry into the Galactic Concord." Ethan's jaw dropped. "The Galactic Concord? You mean there are more advanced civilizations out there?" "Indeed," Zortal confirmed. "The Concord is an alliance of spacefaring races dedicated to mutual protection and the advancement of knowledge. We Aetherians have long been members, though we had grown complacent in our isolation. Your actions have reminded us of the importance of interstellar cooperation." Sarah's mind reeled at the implications. Humanity, so long alone in the cosmos, was about to step onto a much larger stage. "There's more," Zortal continued. "In light of your incredible achievements, the Council has decided to grant humanity full access to our scientific and technological database. Not just the cube we initially offered, but everything. Our entire history, all our advancements, it's yours." Sarah and Ethan exchanged stunned glances. The scientific leap this represented for humanity was incalculable. "High Counselor," Sarah began, her voice thick with emotion, "we're honored beyond words. But are you sure? This is your people's legacy." Zortal made a gesture that Sarah had come to recognize as the Aetherian equivalent of a smile. "Captain Chen, you and your crew have more than proven yourselves worthy. What you did here, the spirit you displayed, it awoke something in us. You've reminded us of who we once were, of the drive and determination that built this ring world eons ago." The High Counselor moved to the balcony's edge, gazing out at the bustling city below. "We Aetherians had grown stagnant, content in our technological superiority. We had forgotten the importance of adaptability, of facing challenges head-on. You humans, with your endless creativity and your indomitable will, have shown us a better path." Sarah felt a swell of pride, not just for herself or her crew, but for all of humanity. They had come to this alien world as saviors and found themselves students and teachers in equal measure. "There will be challenges ahead," Zortal continued. "The galaxy is vast and not always kind. But together, I believe there is nothing we cannot accomplish." As if on cue, a distant rumble drew their attention to the sky. A fleet of ships was descending through the atmosphere. Human ships, bearing the flags of nations from across Earth. The first wave of cultural exchange teams, scientists, and diplomats, come to cement the alliance between their worlds. "It's really happening," Ethan breathed, his eyes wide with wonder. "We're taking our first steps into a larger universe." Sarah nodded, her heart swelling with a mix of pride and anticipation. "And we're ready for it. Whatever the galaxy throws at us, we'll face it the same way we faced that solar storm, with determination, ingenuity, and the strength of the human spirit." As they watched the ships land, as human and Aetherian crowds mingled below in a cacophony of excited voices and flashing cameras, Sarah reflected on the journey that had brought them here. They had come to this alien world to save a civilization and had ended up transforming too. The Aetherians had rediscovered their long-buried spirit of adventure and resilience. And humanity. Humanity had proven to itself and to the galaxy that they were ready for the cosmic stage. Their inner fire, their ability to push beyond perceived limits, to innovate in the face of impossible odds. These were not weaknesses to be feared or suppressed, but strengths to be channeled and celebrated. In the face of a dying star, humanity had not only survived but thrived. They had stared into the abyss of extinction and emerged victorious, armed with new knowledge, new allies, and a renewed sense of purpose. As the sun set on the Aetherian ringworld, casting the sky in a breathtaking array of colors, Sarah Chen knew that this was not an ending, but a beginning. Humanity's greatest adventure was just starting, and the entire galaxy was waiting. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever wonders or terrors the cosmos held in store, humanity was ready. With their inner demons as a source of strength, their adaptability as a shield, and their unbreakable spirit as a guiding light, they would meet the future head-on. The stars were calling, and humanity was finally ready to answer.